So what are playing spin? What are some concepts or some ideas? And there's no wrong answers. You only know what you know. And you would have been taught something. You haven't been just given something. So what are some concepts or ideas you know or understand about playing spin? Foot to the ball. Good. What else?
They're not being caught on the crease. They're either choosing to go right back to get on top of it or right forward.
Well done. Excellent. Excellent. Right back or right forward. We don't want to get caught on the crease. Well done. What else? Head right over the ball. Excellent. That's more important against spin even than pace, because pace generally will skid on and you can sort of it doesn't bounce as much, so you sort of can hit from back here. Whereas spin, because it's flighted, it's almost always going to bounce more. So if your weight's not forward and head's on top of the ball, you're more likely to pop it up. Well done. What else? Anything else? So we've got right forward or right back, foot to the ball, head to the ball.
They're playing shots that are smart with what type of spin's being bowled. So
Like what? Give me some more.
I say, so hitting against the spin or with the spin, depending on where you are. So if you're further away, you want to hit with the spin.
Okay. Yep. Excellent. Excellent. One of the rules we learn in Australia, and it's a bit different on the subcontinent, but here in Australia is hit with the spin. That's a pretty simple concept that when we play with the spin, it's usually lower risk. We've spoken about risk and managing risk. We want to try and play low risk cricket. We don't want to be high risk all the time, or else if we make a mistake, we're out. So general rule of playing spin is hit with the spin. Yeah? Anything else we know about spin? I think we've got some good answers. We've covered a lot of things.
Like getting side on, if you get front top, you can be vulnerable to spin. So
Yep.
if you get the dominant side,
Yep.
throw the ball. It's like
Good, good. Well, same principles apply as we've just worked on with normal shots. Same principles. You want to try and have a long, straight bat swing through the ball. So to do that, you want to be side on. However, if it's spinning in, then maybe you do get a little bit more front on and go with the spin square of the wicket. But in general, you're right. The same principles apply. Yep. Any other ideas? Any other thoughts or understanding? No? And I think, as I said, I think that understanding just there is excellent. Really, really, really good. An idea I'm just going to share with you, because I think you've covered it really well. General ideas of playing spin is play with the spin. That's where we have lower risk, yeah? This is just starting level. There are other ideas for that, but at this level, we want to play with the spin. Next thing is you want to try and get to the pitch of the ball, and if you can't get to the pitch of the ball, you want to try and get as far back and away from the pitch of the ball, hit the ball on the top of its bounce. Exactly what you said, Rubes, is if we're stuck on the crease, that's when we get in trouble. That's when we sort of get bowled, LBW, whatever, we don't quite get to the ball, we pop it up. So we've got to try and commit one way or another. In Australia, I think we're taught to have like a big lunge and press and try and get at the ball. And generally that means that when we do that, if we see it short, we almost always just rock back to where we started. We never use that whole depth of our crease. So something that I learned from going to India and has helped me a lot, and I try and coach to my players, is to try and be really quite light on your feet and not overcommit forward. Yes, you can have a little trigger forward or a little press, but you don't want to overcommit forward because then it's hard to get back, like Sean was saying in the other net about your trigger. So it's like for me, when I'm playing spin these days, and I've had some success in the last season especially, I was sort of a little sort of pressed forward, but I was able to get right back if I wanted to. Yeah, so making sure we're not overcommitting forward. And I went through a period where I was coaching my players, and I still do a bit, to almost go back first, turn those length balls into like playing off the back foot, because what does that make the bowler do? Go full, and then you start getting drive balls and half volleys. And you just sort of get back, you let it bounce, and you sort of play with the spin, whichever way. That's another concept we probably don't need to visit right now, but you just got to pick the length as early as you can and make a commitment either way. Okay? If the idea is to hit with the spin, how do we want to adjust our stance depending on which way the ball's spinning? Any ideas? Not sure? Okay, so if the ball's spinning in, where are they going to pitch the ball most of the time? Outside off, yep, good. So if we want to hit with the spin, and then on top of that we want to get as close to the pitch of the ball as we can, what guard could we take? Off stump, well done. So if the ball's spinning, we take off stump, and you often see the best players batting on off or even outside off to the ball spinning in, because they know they're going to land there and they can then get across, and they're already, just from their starting position, they're closer to the pitch of the ball. Yes, you're standing in front of your stumps, but with the general rule that you're going to use your bat, you're going to hit it. So if a bowler bowls a ball and you miss it, you're either going to get bowled or LBW. So you've got to use your bat, yeah? So starting on off stump to hit with the spin is an idea. You don't have to do it, but it's an idea. If it's spinning away, what could you do? Bat on leg stump, exactly. And then you keep your leg out of the way and you sort of hit balls from middle and leg more with the spin rather than against it. Pretty simple. There's some ideas that a lot of people don't know that can just little tiny things can help you. Now, one more concept before we do a little bit of spin. I think from what I've seen, almost everyone, there's exceptions to the rule, but the rule is generally, if in a game, okay, I'm going to say this, start again. If blocking in the last session of a test match, you're blocking to save the game, your team is eight down, you've got to sort of survive a session to survive the test, and you're trying to block every ball. There's men around the bat and all you're trying to do is block every ball. That's 1 out of 10 in terms of your intent. 10 out of 10 is trying to hit every ball for 6. It's a 20-20. Where do you think you want to bat in a 50-over game? You're batting in the middle order, it's a 50-over game, normal game, you're setting a target, you're not chasing. What out of 10 do you think you want to be at? 5 or 6?
Well, it depends on what type of player you are, but personally, well, if I'm in, I like to attack the spin so I can get into my innings.
Good, okay, good. Good, awesome. Every one of us have said somewhere between 5 and 7 is your ideal. Somewhere in the middle. You don't want to be blocking everything, but you don't want to be slogging everything for 6. But you may be closer to hitting everything for 6 than you are blocking everything. That's a great starting point. What I've seen without fail is that when pressure's on and there is the opportunity to get out, the consequence to get out, most people will go much lower than that. They're more comfortable blocking and surviving, and then they'll get forced into playing a big shot because they haven't scored for 10 balls or 2 overs, whatever. When more comes to batting at a 2 or a 3, then they are comfortable batting at an 8 or a 9 or a 10, most people. So this is a concept I've just come up with recently, when I'm coaching my players now, I say to them, I want you to practice at an 8 or a 9. So we can build confidence at the higher end and build confidence playing our shots so that when you need to, you've got confidence in your shots, because I think you can always come back. You can always just survive and block if you have to. And your default will be to survive. So if you sort of, okay, spin's on, all right, your default is to block, and then you think, okay, I need a score, and you've practiced your sweep, you've practiced hitting over the top, you've practiced hitting along the ground to the sweeper, you've practiced a reverse or a paddle, or getting back. Like, you've practiced all those things, you're going to execute them, but you're going to feel more confident about them as well. Because most of us just sit in practice at a 5, and then we go into a game and we bat at a 3, and then we're forced into a big shot. Does that make sense? So an idea I want to share with you now is, when you're practicing spin, it's different to pace because it's more just reacting, but when you're practicing a spin, live at that 7, 8, 9, and give yourself the confidence. Get out 5 times, but give yourself the confidence that you've hit 15 attacking shots. Next session, you might only get out 4 times, 3 times, and then eventually, hopefully, you're not getting out much at all at practice, and you've got the confidence that when you need to, you can play a shot. And an example of that, a live example of that is me. I learned to play the sweep shot in my early 20s. I was pretty hopeless at it for a while. I made lots and lots of mistakes. I did it every training session I could, got out a lot, and over time, I became a decent sweeper, and it's something now that I think I'm one of the best in the state at, and I had some success in grade cricket. Semi-final against Claremont Netherlands, the best team. Second ball, sweep 4. Third ball, slog sweep 6. They moved the field around, another sweep, and then all of a sudden their spinners had to come off because I was sweeping their spinners and they didn't have an option. So it's just by practicing, but I made lots of mistakes for 10 years. before I could get to that point and have that confidence to play those shots. Yeah? So you've got to give yourself permission to make mistakes to be able to have the success. And I'm certainly not perfect. I still make plenty of mistakes, but it's something I've practiced a lot, and I've now got confidence to be able to do it in a game, in a big game. So practice those sort of 7, 8, 9s, not 10 out of 10, you don't need every ball for 6, but 7s and 8s, so that you can have the confidence in a game. Yeah? Okay, so let's just throw a few spinners, see how you play. Goal is to get to the pitch, or get as far back from the pitch as you can. Get forward or back, hit with the spin as much as you can, and have some fun. Have some fun. It's a chance to have fun and explore.